Victoria has more than 55 churches and can actually boast the oldest synagogue in Canada, still in use today, in the original building. And it was built in 1863, just a year after the city itself was incorporated. And at that time, there were only 6 members of the Jewish faith here in Victoria, and they could not afford their own building. But the other churches, led by the Catholic Church, all held fundraising events for them and helped them raise their money needed to build their synagogue on the theory that all people should have their own house of worship.
Larry! Bert!
As I turn the corner on the left-hand side, the cream and brown building is the Union Club. And this has nothing to do with trade unions. This was a good old boys club back in the day. They've only allowed women for the last 15 years. And when it was first formed at the beginning of the last century, you could not just join. You actually had to be invited by a current member, as well as having the $25,000 membership fee. And this is at a time when most people were making $1 a day.
That's your phone. Yep.
Now, I mentioned that a third of our population is retired. Victoria also has a very large percentage of college students. The University of Victoria has the most out-of-province students of any university west of York. There's more than 40,000 attending universities or colleges in the Greater Victoria area. I will probably scrape a few of these branches again. On the left-hand side, you can see the Clarion Tower that has 63 bells in it, and it is played by a computer program, but it was set up by a symphony orchestra conductor, and it plays on the hour and on the half hour. And there's a rumor going around, and I've never been able to confirm whether it's true or not, but apparently a couple of students from the University of Victoria Computer Sciences Lab broke in one late Saturday night and reprogrammed it. So for the 10 a.m. bell the next morning, Sunday morning, it played AC/DC. I don't know if it's true or not, but I sure hope it is. On the left-hand side, of course, we've got the Parliament buildings. And the statue is of Queen Victoria. And the golden statue on top of the Parliament buildings is of Captain Vancouver, for which the island is named. And there's actually 2 Vancouvers. 3, really, if you count the island. We've got Vancouver Island, we've got Vancouver, British Columbia, but we have the original Vancouver, and that's Vancouver, Washington. All of Washington used to be Canadian territory. And that's where the very, very first Fort Vancouver was built. But during negotiations, it was realized that the nominal border would end up being where it is now, the 49th parallel. So all the wealth from Vancouver, Washington was moved to Vancouver, British Columbia. And that was also in the mid-1800s, early 1800s. About the same time Fort Victoria was built. On the left we have a Huntington Manor. This was a whaling captain's home. It's now a hotel, bed and breakfast. breakfast. The area we're in is James Bay. It's a very high-class area. Some of the very first houses in Victoria were built here. And again, the Heritage Society has held sway. If you look on the left, it looks like just the regular house, but it's actually a restaurant. And a very fine dining. The exterior is as it was originally built, so they have complied with the heritage laws, and yet can run a restaurant here. Coming up on the next left-hand corner, if you look to the right between the buildings, you'll be able to see Fisherman's Wharf. This was where the fishing fleet in Victoria tied up at one time, but again, as the city became more gentrified, seat of government, residential areas, all the fishing vessels moved away. Now it's pleasure craft and houseboats. I've been told that the monthly fee is $350 for a houseboat. There on the right, you can see them.
$50. I want a houseboat.
Now coming up on the right hand side and then directly in front of us as I drive down the street is Shoal Point. I pointed out the penthouse from the other side of the harbor. Shoal Point itself is a very, very green building, and it also won various awards throughout the world for its architecture and its artwork. As we get closer, if you look directly ahead, you can see the friezes on the top of the columns, and it's built right into the actual building. Well, we're almost back to your cruise ship. We are about 5 minutes late, maybe 10 minutes by the time I get parked. And I do hope that you've enjoyed your tour with me today. I ask that you please make sure you have all your personal belongings. We're not actually associated with the cruise ship itself, so when we do find someone's belongings, it's quite a convoluted process to try and get them back to them. And again, I ask that you not stand until I'm at a full stop.
Yeah, I see that.